All right, welcome to take two of our new moon live. Um, bear with me for a minute while we get situated. I'm going to find our link here so that we can share it to where we need to share it to. My co-founder is also talking to herself, which is a little distracting. Good, thumbs up. Okay. All right. Just have to switch out the share link. Save changes. Make sure that share link goes to where all of us are now. I know there's so many of you. Oh, and now I'm hearing myself. Huh? What?
Nothing.
Okay. Okay, great. So I have that link set up now. So I should be able to close these, get my notes up. All right. And can I get a thumbs up from my partner that we have sound? We have, okay, the videos are good. Also thumbs up. Okay. Sound and video is awesome. Thank you. Luna Seco, because we are different people. That is my co-founder in the chat. So we tried this at 5 o'clock, like we were told everybody we were going to do it, and the video quality was absolutely atrocious. It was unwatchable. It was frankly unwatchable. I'm gonna take these. You know what? I'm not gonna take these off because my camera likes to unfocus on my face. It tells me that my face is forgettable, and it just decides to just go on its own way. So we're just gonna leave the headphones on. It's fine. We tried to do this earlier. Video quality was awful. Audio quality was pretty crappy too. We figured out the problem. We problem shooted. And these are the things that happen when you have Mercury in retrograde and you're trying to do things for the first time. And that's just what happens. It's just what happens. So, obviously, super relaxed. It's been a great day. We're going to be talking about new moon in Aries. And I think the interesting thing about new moon in Aries today on 3/29 is the fact that we have two retrogrades currently in effect at the moment. We have Mercury and we have Venus in retrograde. Both of them started their retrograde in Aries, same as where the new moon is. And we just had, I believe, Mercury went in the 27th, 29th was Venus going into Pisces. But Aries energy doesn't really like retrogrades, doesn't super like eclipses either. Today was a partial solar eclipse, because eclipses and retrogrades are kind of a slowdown energy. It's an energy where it says, hey, pause, reflect, see how things are going. And Aries is very much like, hey, I really want to do things. Like, let's initiate some energy here. It's very fiery energy. It's a fire cardinal sign. And it just wants to go, 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 go. And so it doesn't super love eclipses, doesn't super love retrograde energy. And yeah, we got all of that today, and I'm feeling it. Astrologically, there's just a ton of things happening. There's a lot of planets that are in Pisces in late degrees. There's all sorts of fun stuff happening. So I think one of the first things that I want to say is let's all take a collective deep breath together. Breathe in. Breathe out. Give yourself some space. New moons are really good for like gentle parenting yourself. Like, give yourself some space, chill out. And you know, if you're one of my new followers or friends over on Threads and are watching this replay because you're interested in some witchy energy, we do like very lazy girl witchcraft. We don't have a lot of props. We don't have you know, a giant cupboard of herbs or 500 candles. We do a lot of like intention, a lot of meditation, a lot of like astral magic, essentially. And so we don't really do anything super high stress. And it's great because you don't need to go out and like buy tools or buy anything in order to practice the magic that we like to practice. So we're going to talk really briefly about something that I'm going to be doing here this weekend with my mom, who's my co-founder, Katie, who's in the chat, we're doing a rosemary wash. And this has been something that's been on my mind for a little bit. So rosemary is a really great purification herb, and it's super cheap. Like you can usually buy like a pretty decent guy at the grocery store for pretty cheap. And I mean, it doesn't have to be like specialty herb mixes, like only bought from artisan Etsy sellers. Like you can just buy it at Walmart. Like it's fine. And so we have some dried rosemary, we have some dried basil, some sea salt, some white vinegar. You can optionally add an essential oil. The recipe I'm going to drop in the comments says lemon oil optional, but you could do a peppermint or something. Peppermint with rosemary would probably be a little weird. So yeah, probably lemon or like a citrus would be good. But basically you make a tea. So you can either do it like quick, fast, dirty, because like sometimes that's all we have time for, right? Where you just pop the dried herbs into like a little bag or like milk bag or a dried herb bag, whatever you have. Or if you have like the little tea balls, that works. And then you just pour boiling water, let it steep for like way longer than like you normally would, like a tea. Like so like 10-20 minutes, just like let it like cover it, let it steep. And then you can just pop that, strain it into a spray bottle if you want to just like spray your windows and doors and floors, or you can pop it into like a mop bucket and like grab, you know, a nice rag or whatever, so that you can really like kind of scrub that in. And if you want to, this is kind of where I get into like a little bit of my lazy / kitchen witchery, is if you want to do for prosperity, you would go in a clockwise motion on everything. It brings prosperity to you. If you want to banish energies, maybe you're doing more of the cleansing than the protection, you can go counterclockwise. Great way to do that. So there will be a recipe for that. And the other option is to simmer. So instead of letting it steep on its own with boiling water, you'd pop it into a pot on low heat and just let that simmer for 15 to 20 minutes. Okay. And some other lazy girl new moon rituals that we recommend. So intention baths are really great, or you can even do an intention shower. Basically, water is a great cleanser, and it's a great way to reset and refresh. So you can just pour intentions into either your bath water or while you're doing a shower. And then any negativity, you just imagine and visualize that circling and going down the drain. Some other options that are just really simple is you can write your intentions on a piece of paper and slip it under your pillow so that it can work while you're sleeping. Typically, a really great new moon / full moon, like any moon situation would be doing moon water. It's a very witchy thing to do, where you set water out on a windowsill overnight, and then you can use it for plants, skincare, other magical properties and things. That is not recommended today because we had a partial solar eclipse. Eclipse water is not something like you can't use. Like eclipse water has its purposes, but I wouldn't recommend it for somebody that like kind of is dabbling with moon water. Another thing is like a lot of people talk about having altars if you do any type of magic. And a lot of times I think that feels like really overwhelming, like this whole space that has to be very aesthetic and very tailored, and you need candles and you need like props, if you will. But you can have a really minimal one where you just have a candle, maybe like a quartz crystal or some other crystal that speaks to you. And again, you can just write out a little wish or a little intention and light the candle. Just visualize that coming through. Pop the crystal on top of it and go from there. Really quick little witchy tip for you is for doing candles. If you're doing any type of magic with candles, it's a good idea to have a snuffer of some kind. You can use like another glass. You can use like even like a jar lid. A lot of witches love their jars. So you can use a jar lid just to snuff it out instead of blowing it out. In magic, you are using one element to snuff out another. So it kind of mutes down the intention and the energy that you are building with the intention of the candle. So it's just a little witchy tip for you. Another great thing to do on new moons, especially with the eclipse energy, is go through the phone. Cleanse that out with any old photos, texts, maybe get a little, sanitary wipe and like desanitize that thing and start fresh with your phone for a new month. Also just like comfort foods. or Netflix with intention. So like pick a movie that you really like has the energy or like the vibe. Like maybe you really want to go to Italy, so you find a movie that is like set in Italy and just set that intention of like, oh, I'm going to be there soon, and kind of get into that excitement where you can use TV, you can use movies to set your intention. You could set a wallpaper on your phone to that area as well. And food also can be a really great one. There's a lot of correspondences with food that are for prosperity or for protection, but any like food you enjoy, like you can just set intention around your food. You know, any of us that have come from a Christian background might think about blessing food and like blessing prayers, but you can do that without any religion attached. You can just set good intentions of this food is going to nourish my body, this is going to make me feel good, it's going to be good for me, and just set those intentions before eating. Simple practice, but really powerful. And you can do the same thing with water. There's the famous water experiments where they would talk to water. They'd put stickers around their water with different words. And those positive words can really infuse the water with a different energy than negativity. So that's another nice little quick, easy, lazy girl practice. Today is also a 5-day in numerology, excuse me. So the day and month comes to 5, as well as the whole date. The month, day, and year is 5. Me and my co-founder are both life path 5s in numerology, and 5 energy is a really fun one. It's great for new beginnings. It really is. And it's vibrant, little mischievous. It's on the adventurous side, loves to travel. We're digital nomads. We're very adaptable. We're really good examples of 5 energy. It's very new, fresh, futuristic, looking forward, incredibly adaptable, all of that good jazz. So I think that covered the main stuff. And then really quickly, we're just going to close out. I'm going to talk a little bit about quantum human design, which is what me and my co-founder are working on. So it is a different branch of human design. It's not traditional. It is very much a new thing. So we are doing channeling around human design, and we have already integrated, I'd say 3 or 4, probably 4+ areas that aren't typically talked about, aren't typically explored in human design. We're doing a deeper integration of astrology, for one. So anybody that's kind of familiar with traditional human design, a lot of astrology was kind of overlooked or like passed up when human design was being built out. And Ra wasn't a huge fan of astrology by itself, which is fair. Like, you know, he built human design, and so he was more geared in that direction. Understandable. But there were a lot of aspects of astrology that I was like, I don't know why we're glossing over that. That seems really important. So we've reintegrated, if you will, or integrated for the first time, certain aspects in a deeper way. One of those is we are pulling ascendant, midheaven, descendant, and ascendant, by the way, is also commonly used as rising signs. And the IC, all of those, and the vertex. We're pulling all of those for both your birth chart, which would be your normal astrology chart, as well as your design chart. So in human design, we have 2 sides of the chart. One is your human design, that is your personality. On the right-hand side of the chart is personality. It's your consciousness. It's all of your kind of typical forward-facing things. And that is based on your actual birth date and time. Your design side on the left side is from 88 days approximately prior to your birth. It's when your nervous system has finished developing. And that is your design side. It's more of your unconsciousness. It's more of your body. It's more of kind of the shadow self. People familiar with astrology, it's very moon energy. It's very kind of like hidden self things. And so we have 2 of those. And so we're pulling all of those points for both sides. We also use something called destiny map points on both sides, which is the whatever placement in your chart has the highest degree in whatever in any sign. And that's your destiny map point. So that's something else that we're doing new. We're also integrating modalities into profile lines. Modalities are your cardinal, fixed, and mutable signs. So I mentioned earlier, Aries is a cardinal sign. So each sign is in one of those 3 categories. There's 4 of each. There's one of each of the elements: water, earth, fire, and air. I almost lost which ones I had said. And so we are working on the fact that we've been noticing profiles, or kind of like, which in human design is very much forward facing things. So the first number in your profile, so I'm a 1-4, that 1 is more of my personality. It's my conscious side. It comes from the personality side of the chart. The 4 comes from the design. But profile lines are really great for understanding kind of your role in the world, and how you are seen by other people, and how you can kind of move in the world well. And it's interesting because you are more apt to have more in common with people that have the same profile as you than if you have somebody that has the same type as you, or some other aspect in human design. These reports have all been channeled between reports, have hit us in an amazing way. How that's phrased is confusing me a little bit, but yes, they've hit with us and with our test subjects very, very well. I think that's what you're talking about there. And doing the profile with the modality has given a far deeper reach, because we're working on a different way of presenting human design to people. Almost everybody brings in type first, but type is arguably the most channeled between us. That makes more sense. They are channeled between us. Yes, these points have been coming from channeling sessions that the both of us have been doing. And but having the modality into the profile, so having a fixed 1-4 is very different than having a mutable 1-4. And there are edge cases. Most people, because of the 88 days, will have the same modality on both sides of their chart for the profile. There are edge cases, like my grandmother is actually one of them, where you have different ones, and those are going to be integrated into our reports very deeply. And we're also working into numerology numbers to get really deep into that, because type, while very important to have your strategy in mind and to know your not self, it is arguably the least juicy, if you will, piece of the beginning human design that you can really take on and learn from, and be able to start using and experimenting in your life. Because yes, the strategy needs to be at the forefront. How you really react with the world needs to lean into your strategy and authority. But there are so many pieces of human design that really help you align better, so that you're aligning to places and situations where that strategy then comes into play. So that's what we're working on with how we're going to be teaching human design moving forward. The profile lines are going to be the first thing that we actually cover in our Aquarian Human Design community, which will be launching very shortly. We are working around the clock to get those intro audio courses done for the community, so that when you hop in there, you can learn about your profile, you can learn about the modality of that profile, and start getting into kind of not the super weeds, because we can go really deep with weeds in human design, but going into the pieces that we feel you're going to be able to look at this report, take this information on, and actually start getting results and seeing change in your own life right out the gate. So we will be going into type, we will be going into strategy, because that is very important. But these other pieces might help you actually get into the places, meeting the right people, setting up your environment to have more coincidence, to have more serendipity. And then you can start using your strategy in those situations to really build a better life for yourself, which is what human design is all about. All right, so that is just under 20 minutes. I'm going to cut this off there, and at least we got a stream out for you guys today, even if it was a little bit late and we had some hiccups along the way. Mercury retrograde energy all throughout, and we will be seeing you very shortly. Thanks.